Today I just wanted to do a video to check up on some things that have been going on in the markets. In the last video I had talked about Nvidia. It was touching these highs right here. I did a video how some of the calls paid out like 100 times your money or even more from here to there. You know, nobody was wanting to buy the calls right here. Then the 97.50s, I believe, on this day paid out like 150 times your money. And I talked about, you know, it came up to here and was touching these highs right here. And I said, you know, you could play it two ways. You could wait, you know, wait till it had a pullback back down, you know, to the bottom of this range, right in this area, or, you know, and maybe let it, you know, try to catch some support right here off of this 89.90 level. Or you could wait for it to, let's see, you could wait for it to break these highs, and the next day it did. And I know a lot of people that I associate with did get in, and this right here has been crazy amounts of money have been made right here in the options world. If you played the stock, you know, I mean, you still could make some good money, but the type of money you can make with options just isn't there with playing the underlying, you know. I mean, let's see, the stock went from a total of $95 to let's say 117, so, you know, $23 or something like that. So $23 on, you know, $95. That's, you know, let's just say even if it was $100, you know, round it off, and then you say $20, you're looking at 20%. So, you know, give or take around 20% move. Even if you say it's a 30% move or whatever, it's nothing it's nowhere close to what could be made with the options, you know. And that's why I stress, guys, that options are just so much better, because the amount of leverage you get. And for one, you're putting up a lot less capital. You know, you can buy these option contracts for sometimes less than $1. You buy 10 of them, you know, sometimes they're going for, you know, 30 cents. You can buy 10 of them for, you know, it's times 100, so it's 100 times, you know, 30 cents. I mean, 10 of them times 100, so that's 1,000 times 30 cents. So you're looking at $300. But then you can get 100% move or 200% move. For instance, today the stock went, you know, a total of 7%, 6.87%. You know, it opened up at around 112 and it made a high, you know, today in the Discord chat. I said it would probably, you know, I thought that it was going to top out at around 116, and it started consolidating at 116, and then once I saw that it was consolidating and still looking strong, holding the moving average, I said it's a possibility this thing might hit 118, and sure enough, it's over 118, so it did better than I expected. But just to give you an idea, the options on this thing, you know, of what you could have made on the options if you played the weekly. So let's say you want to play the weeklies, you know, it opened up at 112. Well, instantly you didn't have much time, you know. I mean, as soon as this thing opened, within a matter, you know, I'm on a 5-minute chart, so within a matter of, you know, half of the candlestick, you know, it kind of made a red to green move. So within 5 minutes the stock head went from 112 to 113, you know. And if you go back to previous days, you know, a candle that big would have only got about 50 cents. So you already knew, just on a proportion basis, on a scale of what the stock usually does, that this stock was running harder and covering more ground, so to speak, than it normally would, because this amount of space was on the scale was already $1, whereas previous days it might have been, you know, not even 50 cents. So you already knew this thing was strong. So right out the gate, I had a feeling this thing was going to probably make 116 to 118 a day. You know, I said 116 at first, and then I said maybe possibly 118, and it did just that. And what you see is so right out the gate, it goes from 112 to 113 in a matter of minutes. And So you could have played, let's say, you wanted to, I got in right off the gate You know, I held, I believe, till we got this pullback around here, is what I want to say. And I believe I played the 113 or 114 calls. So let's say you wanted to play the 114 calls. Now, obviously, it went to, you know, it closed at 117. So maybe you could have played the 115 calls. It would have been your best bet. And if you would have stuck it out and played the 115 or 116 calls, you made some really good money. So just to give you an idea, guys, on what you could have made. Let's say you played the 115 calls. You come over here. Let's get a chart up on that. Okay, so you see the option opened up at around 70 cents, and it closed at, you know, that was just kind of a misprint or something that went off, so we're not going to use that. It closed at 358. So you had an opportunity to make, you know, it's saying 644%. You know, it opened up at around 70 cents, closed at 350. So you can, all you have to do is you come right here, you do 350 divided by 0.70. Look at that. There you go. 5 times your money. You know, 644% this thing made. So I mean, today the stock only went, you know, if you would have played the underline, you could have got in. Let's say you got in at the open at 112 exactly. Okay, even if you buy 1,000, say you buy 1,000 shares, or say, you know, that's $111,000. So say you buy 500 shares. You know, so you buy 500 shares, that's 111,000 divided by 2, so you're looking at $55,000. You know, so you come over here, it goes from 112 and it makes a 6.8% move, closes at 117. So $5 move, yeah, $5 move. You make a $5 move on 500 shares, which, hey, is still good money, $2,500. But you had to put up $500,000. You know, I mean, $50,000, $55,000. You know, you don't. Who wants to put up that kind of money to make $2,500 when you could have put up? Let's say you could have put up to make that same $2,500. You could have put up $500 and made 5 times your money and still made that $2,500, but you were only risking $500. And most of the time you're not going to let the stock go so much against you to where your option goes to 0, so really you're not even risking that. You know, you keep you a nice little tight stop loss. You know, say that, you know, usually if the stock goes 25% against me, 20% against me, I'll get out, you know, or even you might want to keep, say, 10%, depending on what your risk tolerance is. But, you know, you put up $500 and say, you know, if it gets 10% away from me, I'll get out. You know, I'll lose $50, or maybe you want to do 20%, depending on what you want to lose. But worst case scenario, you lose your $500 if you let it go all the way against you. But I don't think you would do that. But you stand to make you could have made $2,500. Whereas you play the equity, you put up $50,000. When you make $2,500, obviously, I think you can see what's the better call. Obviously, playing the option is a way smarter idea, guys. A lot less risk involved. Everybody says there's so much. Oh, they're so risky. No, they're a lot less risky. Options are way less risky. Everybody I talk to who understand options agree. There's so many things going in your favor. You're putting up less capital. You're getting more bang for your buck. I mean, it's just way less risky. I mean, why would you want to put up $50,000 and risk $50,000 of exposure when you can put up $500 to get the same, you know, the same gain? You're never going to, you know, look here, you get a 6%, all you're going to get is a 6% move if you play the equity. Whereas the option puts in 600%. It's just, it's crazy, you know. So these options paid out. And also, I know I talked about if you these guys who like to swing trade, You know, the weeklies are going to pay out the most, guys, but if you wanted to swing trade, I mean, they're going to pay out the most on an everyday basis, but if you get a big move like this, you can, let's see, so Nvidia, as it crossed these highs, and I said it was a good play to get into, let's say, okay, it was at $95, so let's say that you wanted to play a couple weeks out. You know, you're going to play a couple weeks out. You bought a 2-week expiration. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with a couple of holidays in there. So this is from, let's see, that's from the 14th to the 27th. So that's 13 days. So you would have had to pick a monthly, because you don't want to hold these things all the way to expiration, because if you hold these things all the way to expiration, guys, that's when time decay is going to kill you and you're not going to make your money. I can't stress that enough. You know, a lot of people are if you hold these things too long, it's really going to get you. So, but on, let's say you got in at the end of the day as it broke these highs, and that was on 12/14, and you wanted to play, let's say you played the 110 calls. You know, the way it was breaking out, you know, you thought it could hit 110. So you come over here, let's see what the 110 calls could have done. You would have had to play the, let's see, I don't believe I forget when these were issued. Well, it wouldn't have been enough time. So you'd have had to come over here to the, you could have played the, let's say the January 13th. Let's say you played the January 13th, and you played the 110 call. Well, those are weeklies too, so the most they would have been out was 2 weeks. So you would have get. So you might want to play. You might want to come to the January. If you're going to swing something for about 2 weeks, you probably want to play it monthly. So you come here, 110 calls, and you know, they, let's see, so that would have been the 13th, comes back to 2 Tuesdays ago, so Tuesday, so you can come, even, okay, so last Tuesday, it went from, you can see here, in just a week, yeah, so in a week, so just in a week, this thing went from $1.67 all the way to $10. You know, you almost got 1,000% on that. You know, not quite 1,000%. You know, because if it was at $1, obviously, but it's at $1.67, so really, you could almost cut that in half. You know, about 500%, maybe 700%. You would have got on that option in a week. Now, there's a bunch of different options you could have played. Obviously, for instance, there's a bunch of good different ones you could have played. So let's see, you could have played the January 17th. You could have played January 17th, 115 calls. Or let's say it was at 95. Let's say you played the 100 calls because it was at 96. And you know, someone who's doesn't want to take on quite as much risk. You want to play the 100 calls. And so since last Tuesday, you know, since last Monday, it went from a low of 365 to 615. So 1650 divided by, you know, there you go. 4.5 times your money, you know, is what you could have made. Oh, did I type that in wrong? 3.6. Oh, hold on. 1650 divided by 3.65. Yeah, so 4.5 times your money, you know. So you see, there's a bunch of different, with options, you have so many choices on the different options you can play. But as you can see, if you would have played any of the options in here, you had plenty of choices. I mean, you were looking, whether you played the weekly, the day, you know, you made 500% in 1 day. You could have played the bi-weekly, you made 500% in 2 days. I mean, you're pretty much looking at making 500% no matter where you played it if you held it for the whole day. or if you gave it some time and held it through this whole thing. Now, as you can see, Nvidia is getting very overextended. I mean, this thing went on a crazy run back in May. You know, when it had its earnings in May, on May 12th or whatever, that May 13th. You know, it gapped up from 34 to 40 bucks or something crazy. Maybe like a $5 gap, 34 to 38, whatever it is. And it's been on a run ever since. It's up obviously a lot since Trump got elected. Back here, they had another earnings call since Trump got elected on the 9th, when the market kind of went wild, and it's been on another crazy run. So you kind of wonder, there's been a lot of people getting smoked on puts on this thing. I know people, I was hearing in the chat room talking about they knew people playing puts. I personally wouldn't try to play any puts right now. It's just too strong. But I do think eventually we're going to have some type of pullback like we did here. But I see this thing with, with all the new virtual reality stuff you got going on. You have the virtual reality, all the cell phones, and the Galaxy S7s are going to the digital virtual reality headsets. You got all the TVs going 3D, and the cars going digital now, and all this new virtual reality stuff they're putting in the cars and all that. I mean, everything needs these graphics cards. So Nvidia and AMD, are two of the stocks that have been running like crazy, because it just, I think it's the world's going to this whole 3D virtual reality thing, and they're the ones making the graphics cards. They're the two main. These are the two main, competitors. You got AMD and Nvidia. Those are the top graphics maker. People that make graphics cards that can do this stuff. So I see 150s for Nvidia in the future. If I had to guess, I don't like to put, guess how long it's going to take for something to get somewhere, because you really never know. And the quicker I realize that the sooner you start trying to predict things, the better. It's best just to play the chart in front of you. I know there's a lot of people out there who like to swing trade and do long-term stuff, and that's just something that I never got into. I do a little swing trading, but it's more for just a couple days. Because it's hard to predict where you think a stock's going to go in that amount of time. But I do think I see 150s for this thing in the future. When it'll get there, who knows? Maybe February, maybe April. I don't know. Maybe this thing shoots up tomorrow and gets up to 125 or something. It has another $5-6 a day. We'll see. But I think you are going to see a pullback soon, which is going to be healthy. I think it needs that. I think pullbacks are healthy for stocks, because the more they start going, think about it, the more something starts going straight up, the more gravity's pulling on it, so the more likely it's to have a bigger pullback. You just like you see these pumping up small caps, they go straight up, straight back down. So you need something to kind of go. I mean, look how healthy of a chart this is. It's been on a steady uptrend. It's been on a steady uptrend, as you can see. Back here, you come back here, look, it kind of consolidates, goes sideways, has another leg up, kind of consolidates a little bit, another leg up, kind of consolidates a little bit, kind of, another little leg up, consolidates and dips down, another leg up, dips down a little bit, bam, it gaps up again, a little bit of more consolidation, it goes up again. So when these things do consolidate like this, that's a healthy sign. That's what you want to see. You want to see these things, they need to take a little breather. And, that doesn't mean it's over. That just, that's healthy. So I think we see a pullback back to the 110 range sometime soon. I don't know. Maybe it runs up to the 120 or 130s before it has a pullback. But I think we will see another consolidation similar to this before it makes another leg up. But I hope everybody capitalized on this from the last video I made. I know some people emailed me saying that they got in whenever I made the video, and I explained that it was a good entry. And they made a few 100%. I think they made like 300 or 400% in just a couple of days, from here to there. So I'm happy for those guys. Also, you got AMD. Crazy running AMD today. Went from 1170s to closed at $12, which is a pretty good move for AMD. AMD is not known to be a huge mover. I mean, it's a pretty big move though. It's still a 4% move. So, You know, let's say, you know, you could have played the AMD calls that opened up. Let's say you played 1150 calls. Stock made, remember the stock made a 4% move, but the option made a 50% move. So check that out. The 60% move off a 4% move. You know, the option opens up at 50%, it goes to a high of 80. So it just goes to show you how much these options can really benefit you, and you're not having to put up as much capital. That's what people don't realize is, you know, why play stocks when you have to put up so much capital? I know everybody says, oh, penny stocks. Well, yeah, penny stocks are good, and I still like playing the small cap stocks, but the thing is with those is those things are a lot of times they can be very unpredictable, and sometimes they're harder to read. And you know, I love playing penny stocks. There's nothing against them. That's actually something I like to play a lot of times. But sometimes whenever the small caps aren't working, you have to, just like if there's nothing, maybe you're looking at some bigger stocks and the stocks you're looking at aren't moving, then yeah, it's perfect. That's whenever I go over to play small caps like CNET. I, you know, was looking at that today. I didn't get in it, but I played it, I think, Friday. It's something, it's just another tool in your toolbox that you can have. You know, I think small caps are great. I love playing them when the time is right, but there's times when maybe they're not doing anything, and you can really take advantage of some of these big moves that are happening in these bigger stocks that most of the time people say, oh, you don't even look at them because you think you can't afford them. But yes, you can afford them. You can afford these options. You know, there, as you can see, the Nvidia, like the Nvidia calls, you know, they were going for, you know, around $1 today, and now they're going for $3. You know, they were going for less than that. They went up like 400 or 500%. So, I mean, the 115 calls went up 500%. So they're at 330 now. So you just do the math. I mean, divide that by, you know, 4 or 5, and they're probably going for $1.70 this morning. Who knows what they're going for? I forget. But so another big move, we had Amazon. I know I talked about Amazon in the chat room. So it's kind of forming this little, I don't know, you want to call it like a little pennant, and this little wedge, and I was looking for it to break out of this highs right here. You know, I saw that it was kind of forming this trend line, and I was waiting for it to break over that. Now what you saw today was it went on a big run and hit the 200-day moving average, or the 50-day moving average, and it bounced right off. So what you're going to want to see now is it reclaim, and if it can get over this 50-day moving average, I think we're going to see a push up. Another one, Amazon, you know, paid out crazy today. That's something I got into. I played Amazon and Nvidia today. I got into I think I got into it right around here, and I think I played the 765 or 766 calls. Yeah, I think I played the 765 calls, which you know, they did very good today. They paid out, you know, about 100%. You know, they went from a low of $5 to a high of $11, a little over 100% on that. You know, when the stock 100%, you know, but the stock only put in a 1.42% move. Now I know this looks like a big move on Amazon, but it's nothing. And the thing is you want to be able to capitalize on these big moves. Amazon and Priceline, you know, they put in these huge moves. I mean, this thing put in a $10 move today, a $10 move. You know, and sometimes you'll see these stocks put in a $10 move on a Friday, and option will pay out 1,000%. But you want to be able to capitalize on these big moves. They put in these, I mean, this thing's putting in $10 ranges. That's huge. And there's no way you can capitalize on that if you're playing a stock. I mean, even if you buy 100 shares, it's $773 a share. I mean, that's just an insane amount of money. And then for what? For what? To go get 1.42% on a $10 move? You know, that's nothing. Why would you want to do that? You can play the option, and you can get in for, you know, you see the options were trading, you know, for $5, look, $4, $3, you know, so $3 times 100, because remember each contract is times 100. So I mean, you're getting way more bang for your buck. and I just wanted to do this video. You know, I'm gonna keep doing these every week and kind of highlight some of the big movers that were out in the markets. Another big mover today, I think, was Tesla. Tesla kind of you know, had a big move. And then in the small cap world, we had CNET. That went on a big move. I missed this one. I took a nap. But this would have been a great move. You know, you see it consolidating like this, holding these moving averages, and once this is the setup I like to do. If I see something holding these moving averages, and once it kind of gets over that 9 and reclaims that 9 moving average, you can look to get in right here on this dip and kind of ride it up. I know all the marijuana stocks have been going crazy. You know, the kind of marijuana stocks have kind of had their little phase again. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to do a video on this. If there's anything y'all want me to do a video on, y'all let me know. I will do another one. And like I said, so anyways, let's go back to this one more time. So on Nvidia, guys, you know, it's whether you want to swing trade or whether you want to day trade. You have to make sure you're getting the strike price, you know, and expiration right. So today I played the weekly that expires this week because I knew I was only going to be holding it a day. Now I know a bunch of guys that got back in here, you know, you needed to buy a couple weeks out. You know, you don't want to be holding these things all the way down to expiration. You want to, you know, get out of them, you know, a couple weeks before expiration. Or if you're playing the weeklies, you want to hold them for a day or two. You know, maybe a couple days max, guys, but I wouldn't suggest it, you know. And if you do, you really need to make sure you get a big move, or time decay is going to kill you. So that's the main thing that I stress. If you're going to get in these weeklies, make sure you either hold them just for the day or maybe overnight. And if you're going to try to hold more than that, it needs to be a big move like this that's really like gapping up and really taking off. So what do I think is going to happen to Nvidia tomorrow? I really don't know. I guess we'll see. I hope everybody has a good day, and until next time, guys, y'all have a good day.